All right, let's talk about DC and their phase 1 plans. We've heard from James Gunn that we're actually going to hear a little bit about their phase 1 slate this year. He said that in the beginning of this year, he's going to unveil some things. So I said it would be a fun segment on the podcast if we each came up with our phase 1 for James Gunn's DCU. And I said, let's do 6 projects because that's what Marvel's phase 1 had. And I think the best way to go about it is we'll just do our full slate. We won't go like 1 for 1, 1 for 1. It's not a draft necessarily.
Yep.
So would you like me to start? Or would you like to start yourself?
You start us off, Bob.
Okay. So this is my ideal slate for James Gunn's DCU. Superman. Kick it off with the Man of Steel himself and make this a happy Superman movie. Make it a bright Superman movie. I want Lex Luthor as the main villain, and I want him to spin out like Darth Vader by the end of it. I don't want Lex Luthor to die. I want him to stick around because I think he's a major player in the DC universe. Next thing you do, Peacemaker Season 2 on television. This is a familiar favorite for people already in the DCU. And I think you use Peacemaker Season 2 as an opportunity to up the stakes and bring in a bunch of other DC characters that you kind of tease. So I would bring back Harley Quinn here. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. I think it makes sense with the Suicide Squad connection already. I would introduce Poison Ivy as Harley Quinn's girlfriend, which is something that they already do on the Harley Quinn animated series, and people love their dynamic and their relationship. I feel like Peacemaker with the bugs going up the noses and stuff is weird enough to bring in Poison Ivy and make that work.
That's true.
And then I think this is the first place you have Lobo make an appearance. You either tease him at the end of the season or you end the season with Lobo fucking Peacemaker up in a fight and leaving him in a hospital bed. Something brutal like that.
I didn't think you were going to put up. I thought he was just be fucking Peacemaker. Because Peacemaker's crazy.
No,
I didn't like it down.
He's not fucking him. Yeah, no, not fucking him. All right. Now,
would you be against watching Jason Momoa and John Cena make love, though? I wouldn't be against it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not into gay stuff, but hey, they're beautiful people.
Beautiful.
I see.
Next thing is a movie, and this is going to be your street level DC movie. Green Arrow and Black Canary. People love these two. They had a comic series together for years, and people loved the Arrow television series with Stephen Amell. I think you do it a little different. You age the character up to kind of make sure people know that this is a different Oliver Queen. You do the classic goatee, maybe even do the classic Robin Hood hat. And this is where you tease and introduce Cyborg. I think they can run into a lab where his dad is making him or something like that. And you're just showing us that this universe is building. It's bigger. Next thing you do, you have to nail, this is a huge one, Lantern Corps television show. You do the Green Lantern in this, and you make it Game of Thrones in space with all of the different Green Lanterns, Yellow Lanterns, Red Lanterns. You give all of them a big, big role in this show. I want as much focus on the other Lantern Corps as much as the Green Lantern. And in this one, you could tease Martian Manhunter since we're going to space, and we're slowly building that Justice League up. Now we get to Lobo. We've heard that this is going to be a movie, so that is my 5th project here. And this is where you start to tease the Caped Crusader himself. I think by the end of this movie, you have Lobo and Batman kind of going at it with Clayface. I'm going to bring Clayface into the DCU because I think in Matt Reeves' Gotham, Clayface is a bit too out there. So I'm going to take the more cartoony, crazy Batman villains and bring him in here. And then the post-credit scene for Lobo, Lex Luthor goes to him. Lobo is a bounty hunter and hires him to take out a team of superheroes, or at least Superman. Then my final project in phase 1, most people would think I go with Justice League. I don't go with Justice League. I think it's too soon for that. I go with World's Finest. What is World's Finest? It's Batman and Superman teaming up. So this movie, you have Batman and Superman team up against Lex Luthor, Clayface, and Lobo. That's the 3 villains they're going up against. Batman already works with Robin when we meet him in this movie. So you completely make him different than the Pattinson Batman. You introduce Wonder Woman here. By the end of the movie, you could have them have that moment. Hey, we're forming a team and you know what's coming in the future. And I think by the end of this movie, you could do a full Lobo face turn. So there's my DCU phase 1 Superman, Peacemaker season 2, Green Arrow and Black Canary, Lantern Corps, Lobo, Batman and Superman, World's Finest. And another note for the Batman and Superman movie, because of how Batman v Superman went down and how it was received, sure, you could have them who have a quick fight, quick disagreement in the beginning of the movie, get that over with as quickly as possible. I want to see these guys teamed up in the way they're teamed up in the Justice League cartoon. Sure, they butt heads and disagree at times, but they're both good guys.
Hey, I like that. That's a legit fleshed out plan. You're zagging when people think you're going to zig. I like Bob Fox has it all together. Mine is much more higher level because I don't know as much about the DC universe nearly as much as you do. However, we had some similarities, which I thought was pretty interesting. First off, I think we're all on the same page. I said James Gunn only gets one chance just to basically start at zero. And hopefully this is the last time we see DC just start at zero in their cinematic universe. You start at zero. You put it on the fucking big fella's back. You put it on the franchise player, the big center, your fucking Shaq. I guess they have the same logo, him and Shaq. Your LeBron, your MJ, whatever the fuck you want. Your franchise player is Superman. Stop asking Batman to be your fucking franchise player. He's great on his own, but you have to have like the marketability and like you got to play to like the flyover states to the trends of the world, right?
Yeah,
and that's
kissing
Superman.
Babies and whatnot. Yeah,
exactly. Batman, he talks like this and he fucks people up. He doesn't kill them, but he does everything else that he's layered. He has a lot of dark shit, and we've seen a million Batman movies. Give us that one big Superman movie that we've been talking about. I was talking to I think I was talking to my dad over the break, and he was talking about how big of a deal Superman was when it came out, the movie and stuff like that. And that should be how you think of fucking, Superman for DC for the cinematic universe. So I think we all agree. They have to hit this Superman. They have to nail it. And it's also tricky for James Gunn where he doesn't, I don't know if he's going to, do you think he makes it feel like a James Gunn movie where every serious moment has like the ha-ha? Like he has to be careful with that, right? I think we can all agree with that.
I think it's going to have a different tone.
Yeah. There needs to be some checks and balances there to make sure that doesn't happen. I do agree. I think there will be a little bit of a different tone because that's not really Superman's style, right? So
if you're going to take anything from the James Gunn style and put it into this movie, I would love Superman to have a great soundtrack. Like Superman comes down to earth and like music is one of the things that he kind of falls in love with as a kid. And when he can't relate to the other kids, he goes back and puts a Walkman on at the farm, works on the farm in Kansas, something like that.
Got to be careful though. You
can't do the awesome mix. I know. Yeah.
You can't play Brandy. You're a fine girl, right? You have to be very careful with what goes on. Next up, I'm very skeptical about doing this so soon after Superman. But again, this DCU, we could map this out however we want in terms of timelines and stuff. I don't know anything about this fucking guy, but every time I hear about Green Lantern, I hear about how fucking awesome he is. You start off, you hit Superman, you hit Green Lantern, and they're both fucking good. You're fucking in. Now, this is the thing I'm trying to figure out. Green Arrow. I don't know anything about Green Arrow either. I just know he's in this world, and it always confuses me because I'm like, is Green Arrow the cool one? No, it's Green Lantern. He has the ring, this and that. I don't know if you do something. I was going to say, do you do something with Green Arrow? No. You're throwing Green Arrow. Maybe we do the Black Canary is what you said?
Yeah.
We save that one in the future. We're going Green Lantern. James Gunn, 2 massive projects, has to hit them both. Boom. Superman, Green Lantern. Next 2 projects. I don't know which order we go in. If we go TV show first or we go with the movie. I want something with villains. I want a villain-centric thing. Think the Suicide Squad. I don't know if you're going with a bunch of, say, B-list, C-list villains, or if you're going something a little bigger. I'm thinking, and I don't know if this should be too Superman-centric, but I want fucking just Luthor. I want a Lex Luthor fucking movie.
I thought about that. No, I don't think that's too much. I
don't think it's too much?
Luthor. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that'd be cool if you built each of them up and then had them meet.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he isn't the guy and the Superman is an origin. Did Gunn say he's not doing a Superman origin? I think he might have said
I think he said Superman's going to be young, but it's not an origin. I think that's pretty much what he said.
Which is, I think that can play, right? And you could even maybe there could be Easter eggs about Luthor and in the movie and stuff like that. But I want it to be the point where there's idiots like me who are like, I kind of agree with Lex Luthor. And it's hard to not be on Superman. He's such a pure fucking hero. It would be hard.
Good casting of Luthor. Like people have wanted it for years. And I'm going to say it. And some people are going to be like, oh my God, yes. And some people are going to roll their eyes because this has been a fan cast for 10 years. Bryan Cranston is Lex Luthor. Come on.
The guy did it. The guy, all he did was fuck up innocent people nonstop on Breaking Bad. And you're just like, yeah, but he's a good guy at heart. He's doing it for his family. Everyone, it's crazy how I fucking tweeted out a Breaking Bad clip today about I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love that fucking guy. And he is objectively a horrible, horrible human being. But you see it from his angle. So yeah, fuck it. Let's just go with Luther. I do think there is something, maybe you do a show or a Suicide Squad or a villains kind of thing where you're dealing with the lesser villains, but we'll bring the big boy in there. We'll put him 4. So then 3, I guess, would be Peacemaker season 2. We know it works. I think even then you could kind of level up a little bit in terms of the other characters that are in it. So it's like, all right, we're paving the way. This isn't quite Guardians level. We're going to go a little bigger than the Guardians in terms of the level of character. I don't know if you're going to have maybe Green Arrow shows up there. Maybe like I think Wonder Woman's a little too big, but again, we have to start getting these people in, and I don't think you're going to want to do full-blown movies, but I know fucking Peacemaker is going to be something I love. So those are the top 4. And then my next one, I just like saying this phrase, a Batman adjacent movie. I like saying adjacent.
Nice.
I'm not going to,
you know, sounded proper when you said that.
Yes. I want to throw a Batman movie in here. But I also know it's going to be very hard. Batman is a big fucking deal. Anytime he's on the screen, it's fucking huge. Robbie's not sleeping at night. He's so excited for it. So maybe if someone that's somehow a Gotham movie and Batman's in it, a Gotham show.
Nightwing?
You
do like Nightwing, and it's like in this universe, yeah, he's already graduated from being Robin. Like Batman exists, but we don't have to talk about him much.
Yes, exactly. So you could do it because we're gonna have some sort of Batman stuff already, right? Like that's not they're not killing the Reeve stuff, right?
No.
Okay.
That'll be continuing. And that's also why with my list, I didn't do anything Batman. My final thing was just Batman and Superman. Like, yeah, we don't need 2 Batman franchises going on at once.
Exactly. And we already talked about how like you guys are starting back at 0. Don't like put like, or now you have 3 Batmans and here's the 4th Batman. And this Batman is a girl Batman. It's like, let's not get too crazy with
Welcome
that
to the Batverse.
Yes, we're in the Batverse. Oh god damn it. And then my last one, and it's kind of just a grab bag. It's basically choose someone from the Justice League, because I feel like the Justice League is going to be the Avengers of the cinematic universe. I feel like that'll probably be in phase 2. So choose your Wonder Woman, your Flash, preferably someone who's not an international terrorist, anyone else out there. I don't care. I do think Wonder Woman does make sense because I think, do you go now? Are you staying with the same Wonder Woman? That is the question.
I don't think so. No, I think if you're rebooting Superman and Batman and all that, we talked about this on the Long Take, which you could listen to on the Lights Camera Barstool feed. We looked through a couple actresses that we were like, who could step into that Wonder Woman role? We kind of agreed on Alicia Vikander, who played Laura Croft in the last Tomb Raider movie. I think she would be a really good Wonder Woman. And now you could go with someone that looks a little different in terms of like maybe people were saying about Gal Gadot when she was cast. They were like, she's not muscular enough to like be on the battlefield. And Alicia Vikander probably has a similar build to Gal Gadot. Maybe you want to cast someone that has a little more of a muscular frame just to differentiate the Wonder Woman. Like I was thinking about that with Aquaman. Your next Aquaman's got to have short blonde hair, right? So people don't compare him to Jason Momoa. You kind of have to make all of these characters just a little bit different than the last incarnation we had.
So that's, I mean, and I was thinking Aquaman as well. And the thing that sucks is that we just are having a movie. Same as The Flash, right? It's like you're just having a Flash movie and then you're following up with another one in this, even though it could be years later. But I do feel like we need to have one more of the Justice League at some point. And I do think like Wonder Woman just makes sense because she is such a badass character, and she feels like you got to have tent poles, right, of this franchise. Like,
and I wanted to put a Wonder Woman movie on my list, but I looked it up. Like the first Wonder Woman movie came out in 2017. We're already rebooting that.
Is it? Or first it was only 2017.
Yeah, and then the second one came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy shit, we're rebooting quick. It reminds me of the Jason Bourne, the James Bond thing. Like spoilers for the last James Bond movie. If nobody saw No Time to Die, came out a year ago. He dies at the end. Now, I didn't see this movie. I just know that from people talking about it. Then I realized the plan has always been just reboot James Bond. We're doing it right away. It's not like the franchise is on hold. So like we need some finality or whatever. Why the fuck did they kill James Bond? We're bringing him right back. Why didn't you have fucking Alfred at the end of the bar go?
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises. Give him one of those endings. Why did they kill him? You don't need to kill James Bond. That pissed me off, and I haven't even seen the movie.
I didn't even know that. That fucking that broke my heart. And I wasn't
sorry.
I wasn't gonna see it anyway, but
I was gonna say, yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, you can't be mad about the spoiler, right?
If you gave me 1,000 tries to like guess the name of the Bond movie, like the name, like the title of it, I would have never gotten it either. I mean, like The Day's End, The Razor's Edge, like all this silly.
I like Bond movies, but I was never a Bond guy, to be honest.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. And again, I'm not a car chase guy, and there's always one of them, so my eyes glaze over for that for like 10 minutes every movie. So I guess
I'm a big Casino Royale guy. Like that first movie with Craig blew me away. Everything since it, I felt like hasn't been as good as that.
I like Daniel Craig as my Bond. I like Pierce Brosnan because he's such a handsome man as my Bond. And again, GoldenEye like changed the world back when I was a kid playing Nintendo 64. So I guess there it is. I guess I'll stick with Wonder Woman. Fuck it. If they're killing Bond, we can reboot Wonder Woman. I mean, at this point, it would be like 7 years after the last one came out, but it feels. True. How many people even saw 1984? That's the question.
I know it was dumped on HBO Max, but it was also dumped on HBO Max during Christmas, so everyone was home. You know, it was like
Bob, that was the thing. I remember 80s music in it. You told me they didn't have any 80s music in it. They don't deserve.
They had like one song. Yeah,
I shouldn't.
That was really bad. You know what was sucked too is it was a really bad movie with a really good post credit scene. They brought fucking Linda Carter back in the post credits.
Really? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and it was like it ended on a note that almost made you forget how bad the movie was. Where you're like, oh shit, Linda Carter, like that was cool. And then but Pedro Pascal tried his ass off in that movie. He tried.
He tried. Yeah. Put that on a fucking tombstone. Here lies Pedro Pascal. He tried. And I'm sure he'll be back in one of these cinematic universes of this or Marvel.